So we've seen some partner releases in the past that changed the game, but this is the first time we've ever seen a new hero get dropped after global release. Now I'm not claiming to be an expert on a brand new character, but in the spirit of keeping the tier list up to date, I've reached out to people that got her for their first impressions, and I can at least go through the kit and make some comparisons and analysis. So here's a breakdown on the new partner for MadTale Idol RPG, Sleeping Beauty. It appears we've received another AoE damage dealer, but with a twist. Sleeping Beauty sports a beautifully high base attack and a monster ultimate that nukes all enemies with the highest possible AoE damage. Even Thumbelina's famously high damage death skill doesn't compare. Her ultimate has a 480% multiplier to complement that 450,000 base attack, and it doesn't stop there. She converts damage received into a damage bonus for the ultimate. It's possible for her to get the multiplier around 600 with just her alone. Though when considering certain secret set bonuses and how much she can be healed by allies, the multiplier nearing 1000% becomes more plausible. 1000% each, by the way, not split amongst the targets like the dwarves. This means that Sleeping Beauty quite possibly has the capability of doing the most damage of any partner in a single turn. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some insane one-shot teams being built around this one gimmick. Sleeping Beauty, however, seems to have a fatal flaw. A flaw that plagues my generation, and many before us. Procrastination. The problem lies with this skill, Sleepy Curse. Once she uses this ability, she puts herself to sleep for one turn. Yes, this weird state she's in here is apparently sleep, like the debuff you would use for crowd control. While asleep, Sleeping Beauty gets to resist a couple crowd controls, but the damage of the skill comes after she wakes up, and she practically heals herself to full every time. You can see how this is a bit of a double-edged sword. Think of her like Slay King from Pokemon. She cycles through one turn loafing around, and the next turn launching an explosive attack. This sounds like it has potential, but further scrutiny reveals seldom scenarios of viability. One would think this is a great sequence for daily bosses like the Guild Dragon, where you don't have to worry about her dying while asleep. Though when taking into consideration that it is an AoE, you don't exactly get a very high return on a single target. No, the real damage with an AoE like this comes from big groups of enemies, like in Campaign. Except when facing a large group, you need to act quickly in order to shut down dangerous enemy attacks. Taking the time or resources to fill her energy to max doesn't even yield an immediate result. Like if Prince Glass used a mermaid set for a turn 1 ultimate, giving Sleeping Beauty the energy boost she needs for her ultimate, you'd still need to wait for her to go through the cycle. And even though she can negate a crowd control or two while asleep, she still can be crowd controlled, and even killed. There are also outside factors to consider. For example, the maximum amount of turns in a match is 15. And rarely do fights go past the 5-round mark. So in reality, even if you had the perfect setup that allowed her to sleep every chance she got, she still would only get a maximum of 7 ultimates off in a fight. The extra time required for her to act actually divides her DPS in half whenever you think of it that way. And the multiplier when she's completely maxed doesn't even equal 500. Only after fulfilling a ridiculous series of prerequisites do we get to see those explosive numbers we talked about before. And not to beat a dead horse, but I'd be amiss not to mention that all the while she's sleeping, the enemy is still free to attack, AoE, shield, heal, control, build energy, and in general perform their native functions with no contest from Sleeping Beauty. Despite the stirring excitement for a new character, I think it's pretty plain to see. Sleeping Beauty, unfortunately, isn't an ideal candidate for anywhere in the game. She has no control, no synergy with allies, and no perks to share with teammates. The best she has to offer is an AoE that takes longer to charge than a Hyper Beam. Therefore, Sleeping Beauty gets the initial ranking of C tier. I'd love to see some of those wombo combos we talked about before, but I don't see it happening anytime soon. Sorry if the results are a bit disappointing, but who knows? Maybe she has some hidden potential we just don't know about. Maybe she's actually a top tier partner, and we're just sleeping on her. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, then feel free to join my Discord. But other than that, y'all, that's gonna do it for me today, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.